Well, that's it for Big Lots. Let's see what they've got left. So here we are, my local Biglow, freshly adorned with depressing store closing signs. Even though this is apparently their last hurrah, they aren't interested in lowering the prices any less than 25%. Unrelated, but has anyone else in the US noticed these exact same store closing signs before? The dollar store next door used these when they went out of business, and I've seen pictures of other stores closing using the same exact ones. Is there like some bulk Amazon Basics kit or something where when your business inevitably succumbs to online shopping, they can provide you with a care package to shut down shop properly? A huge poster proclaiming nothing held back was immediately proven to be a lie, as on the inside I was met with entire aisles labeled everyday low price. Walking through the non-automatic doors, I was immediately greeted with a sign reminded me that the decisions you make here will permeate with you for the rest of time. No going back. This toy table looked pretty sad, however. I wouldn't take these if I was a blind, destitute orphan, Jesus Christ. To my left, there was this kind of neat poker table fresh off the lot at Temu, going for the reasonable $149 fucking dollars. And again, despite the sign outside saying that nothing was held back for discounts, it didn't appear they had one available for here. Now, I'm not going to pretend I have any nostalgia for Big Lots. I barely even knew this one existed, but honestly, I considered them a pretty safe and reliable business that would be around for years to come. Although I think the fact that I was thinking that while not actually visiting one makes their current position unsurprising, to say the least. They had some Cheez-Its already dented for your convenience, going for the, I would say, reasonable price of $3.88, although according to them, they're sold in other places for $6.49. I'd be very interested in seeing which failing business they're sourcing that from. I was a bit surprised to see they had food here, to be honest. I didn't know that was the thing Big Lots had, but absolutely none of it was discounted. Just because they're going out of business doesn't mean they're a fucking charity, of course. A lot of the food they had adjacent to that was totally whack anyways. At the end of the aisle, they had glass bottles of soda, which looked kind of cool, but $4.29 plus deposit and tax for 4 12-ounce sodas was a bit of a hard sell, to say the least. In contrast to that, they were selling 12 packs of Faygo, which is rather rare in New York, for $4.59. They didn't have any of their heavy hitters like cotton candy, moon mist, or fireworks, so I picked up their generic cola. Walking past their real undiscounted sodas to get a cart, I strolled back through their candy aisle to find this cute little tiny gumball machine for only $6.99. Hilarious. Some of these comparable value prices feel like they just asked Bill Gates from that segment on Ellen how much he thought they'd be worth. But at least the candy inside the toy looked completely inedible, so there's always that. A Black Widow candy toy at this closeout store that's literally going out of business? I wouldn't have guessed. In the highly professional font on the side, it urged, "Try me," but no matter how many compressions I gave her, she would not spring to life. It's a shame she had to go. She was just so beautiful. Now, hi Soft, this actually looked quite tasty. I've never heard of caramel high chews, but they're here, so maybe they're not very good. Now, I promise you, dear viewer, I was actively searching for a deal on anything, and I just couldn't even spot one. Aisle after aisle of useless garbage pockmarked with everyday low price signs. A few cans of Campbell's they've thrown at the wall for a mind-boggling 20-cent discount. Wrapping around to yet another aisle of full-price nasty food, and we arrive at the first decently priced item. So, like an obnoxious YouTuber, of course I set my phone down to film myself picking it up, but at least I made sure to stay out of frame while doing it, making the footage completely useless. Into the next aisle, and it seems we've got some actual discounted items here. This plastic bag organizer. I wonder why they'd have a hard time selling this in New York. One can only wonder. Oh look, I found a similar tiny gumball machine for 14% of the price of the last one, but honestly I was so pissed off they even asked for $6.99 for the other one that I just put it down. I'm protesting. I'm starting a movement. Into the next aisle, it seems like this was the first discounted one, but unfortunately there was another human being occupying it, and I didn't want to bother them with my silly YouTube video. It's a shame because I missed out on a magnanimous 5% discount on HBC products. The next aisle was pretty rinsed, but they did have these eardrum punchers. 88 cents after discount. To go deaf quicker is a good deal anywhere, so into the cart it goes. Now here's a memo to all store managers. It seems all you need to do to clear out a store like this is offer a discount that doesn't even cover the sales tax, so fresh tip for you. It was at this point I noticed that the store was playing copyrighted music over its loudspeakers. I found that rather interesting, as a company has to license that music to play it in a commercial setting. And then I had another interesting thought. Think of a few dead businesses. You probably thought of Blockbuster, Kmart, Sears, but none of those places are fully out of business. They all have at least one remaining location open. Basically out of spite, but it occurred to me that when most big retailers go out of business, it's a rather slow, drawn-out death of slowly shrinking locations, increasing prices, lower quality inventory. There's a pretty identifiable death rattle. However, it seems Big Lots decided to cut to the chase and skip to the inevitable, and will close all of their locations by the hundreds. Kind of a bold move, honestly. Checked out the autism toys for a moment. I was curious if those little gold blocks would actually make a profit if you pulled one at the discounted price, but I blew my shot. But this was quite interesting to me. I'm not sure I've ever seen Yu-Gi-Oh cards packaged, so I was surprised to see that they were just in plastic packages instead of cellophane like other trading card games. Although I gotta admit, the way they had these packaged made it seem like it'd be quite easy to peek at what cards you'd be getting just by shaking it a little. But it seems someone got a little more, let's say creative with that. They were going for $5.40 after discount and before tax. Is that a good deal? Someone let me know in the comments. I actually did come here to check for pet food for my cats, but it seems absolutely everything pet-related has been ravaged by the horde. And we've arrived at the largest discount we've seen so far, at 15% for useless electronic garbage that doesn't work. If you see this product at a Five Below or an Ollie's, don't buy it. From personal experience, the battery doesn't last long, and the 3.5mm jack is poorly insulated from the electronics. So only buy it if you are curious what your car's electricity sounds like. Now, even though I said I didn't really shop at Big Lots, it did make me realize with its closure that there aren't really going to be too many retailers like it left. Walmart, Target maybe, those are the only two other retailers I can even think of where you can bulk buy computer duster at a special drug addict price, while also getting Cheez-Its in the same visit. Browsing their meager toy section, I came across this tiny Henga, which assured me that yes, they did indeed were able to put tiny pieces of plastic into a bigger piece of plastic. And with a special discount offer for Jenga Giant, I just had to have it. Now you may be a bit confused, as you might have heard in the news that Big Lots is keeping a few hundred stores open following the sale of its brand to the Gordon Brothers retail partners. What these news articles are jumping the gun on is that, number one, hundreds of stores are still guaranteed to be closing. That is definite. Number two, the company has already filed for bankruptcy. And number three, and this is the most important, the sale has not actually gone through yet. It has not been finalized. No money has been transferred from one party to another. Before they announced they would close all their stores, they were planning to close a few hundred and then sell the business to a private equity firm, but that deal fell through. Regarding the longevity of its brand, Big Lots is not in any different position here as they were a couple months ago. On its website, it still says that all their stores are closing. It's on the front page, it's on the FAQs, so there's some reasons to be optimistic, but I would not hold my breath. As far as I'm concerned, they are still closing all their locations. On one end of their clearance aisle, they had, in total, a single bottle of Gorilla Glue, a nylon children's camping chair for $18, and a Cuisinart juicer, which they made sure to clarify is for home use only. So don't you think you can use this location after they close to open your own juice stand? They had a handy-dandy sign for those that don't know basic math, made by those that don't know basic math. How did they screw that up? Walking down the aisle, I noticed that the back of the store wasn't actually the back. It's a false back, and they were using part of the storeroom as an auxiliary back room. Now, this saves money for the place in a number of ways, by not having to hire as many backroom coordinators, by lowering the amount of inventory they need to shelve. It's genius and definitely doesn't look strange to anyone else, ever. Behind me was this strange mirror with what looked like a car ignition on the side. Starting the mirror opened it to reveal a secret compartment for, things, I guess. Wow. They dog whistle much, Big Lots? No wonder you're done for. Another mirror graces my presence, and as you can see, I just could not contain my bewilderment at the bargain they were selling it for. Another stupid person sign, this time with the correct prices, amazingly. A metal ladder prohibited my ability to move forward, entombing me in this nightmare of Shugi throw pillows, so I quickly darted to the exit. Near the exit to my prison was a mattress shrink-wrapped into the most elegant and creative packaging I've ever seen, and it only cost one of these prices. That's the value Comic Sans brings to the table. Decorative rugs spilling into the aisle made me not even want to go into it, but this genuine, authentic, fake grass looked pretty interesting to me. It looked a lot more realistic than other synthetic grass I've seen before, and the price definitely reflects that. What do we think? Is $40 a good deal for that? Now, some of you might be a little confused as to what drew my attention to this unassuming tufted rug set, but the more eagle-eyed of you may have already figured out what's going on. So this brand, VCNY, which I assume stands for Vonna Kelly New York, this is a sticker covering up the original branding, which is Mainstays. You know, Walmart's store brand. I was going to joke and call this IRL dropshipping, but no, this is like borderline illegal. Masterful gambit, Big Lots. It's a shame we won't be seeing any more of this from you. Alright, I might have damaged the packaging trying to peel the label off, so let's say 1 all, Big Lots. Human spotted. Quick, hide by the STD standard pillowcases. Oh, it's no good. Into the only bathroom. This unisex/gender-neutral bathroom, depending on your cynicism, was quite middle of the road. It wasn't super amazing, it is a bathroom after all, but it was fine. Standard equipment, toilet, urinal, sink, cocaine shelf. They seem to have buffed the swastikas out, so that's pretty good. They also had the bathroom checklist to show that nobody's done a fucking thing, so that's nice as well. But while I was in there, it seemed a bit strange to me that this was the only bathroom for a large department store, so I got a little naughty and investigated the employees-only room. Well, I'll be damned. It's another bathroom that they've retrofitted into a storage area. This is where they're keeping your hygiene products, next to a toilet filled with poop and pee, America. Big story, truth nuke. Anyhow, there wasn't anything interesting in there. They had some pussy box cutters, but that's about it. $17.99. Ooh. How about that? I guess not all the prices are terrible. It's only $12.99 for a pillow that's just a silhouette of Yoshi. That must have been where they threw the cans of Campbell's. Snaking along the remaining aisles, it appears to just be endless barrages of garbage that white women buy. They have some tiny chalkboards for white women to write their tiny life goals on. Some perfunctory Pride merchandise. I can't tell if I'm supposed to interpret that Big Lots supports queer rights, or if Big Lots just has it because other stores won't sell it. A couple of cheap outside toys for cheap outside children, and packaged among it was this interesting toy called Build-A-Fort. This was several sheets of cardboard that children can creatively connect together into forts. Something I probably would have had a blast with as a child, but also something I would have never had as a child, as this cardboard and paper toy was somehow goddamn $37, and at their peak was somehow $75? What the fuck? Sorry, Toys for Tots, you'll never be seeing that. You see, it's funny, cause your humble narrator has never donated to Toys for Tots. I was hoping this cardboard box would contain Big Lots branded merchandise, like maybe uniforms or something, but it's just cheap gray tops that you can buy in bulk for like 60 cents a piece. This was, I think, the stationery section. Oh, sorry, it's the stationery section. This is just all items that remain stationary, unlike the rest of the store, which is animated and alive. If it was stationary like office supplies, it'd be spelled with an E. But it was kind of a disaster, if you can believe it. $3.99 for a single journal. Jesus. I seemed to be approaching their seasonal section as I was passing entire empty aisles with no merchandise at all. I thought about getting this for my cats, but it didn't look too comfortable. The suitcase, however, I almost bought because I was certain it was a knockoff, but upon closer inspection, no, the Rolling Stones really is just that shitty. It was December 27th when I recorded this, so even though Christmas had passed, they are not budging on the price for their Christmas tree drawstring bags. They did have this handy sign for you, however, to tell you that 50% off of $2 is $1. They did mark down most of their seasonal stuff, though, which is standard even for stores that aren't sinking under debt, but they would not sacrifice anything that someone might actually be able to use, like extension cables. A modest pre-lit Christmas tree sits center stage for $59.99, part of their everyday low price package, because, you know, that's what you'd expect to pay if it were like July or something. They also had these oversized candy canes, which I knew for a fact they were selling at Dollar Tree for $5. So of course Big Lots, the bargain bringer of a generation, had them for $7, no desperate discounts included. What's funny is I actually went to Dollar Tree after this, and they had these available for half price at $2.50. Tough choice. With the last aisle checked, it's time for a cursory scan of the inventory in the middle of the store. They had this cozy-looking recliner for $399.99. It let me capture some absolute cinema. Abreast the recliner was a sectional couch with, believe it or not, free throw pillows. You don't have to pay extra for the $900 fucking price tag to get those $2 throw pillows. Again, Big Lots, the beast of bargains. Sorry about that, I panicked when some punk gave me a look for filming in the store. I hope wherever he works goes out of business and he's out of a job. They had a Serta chair that converts into a bed to get the average American used to being completely bedridden by the time they're 45. If you own this and don't live in one of those Great Depression half apartments in New York City, then you just gotta kill yourself, man. I don't know what to tell you. And if you do live in one, then I know you're already planning on it. You don't need me to tell you. Alright, a sectional couch exclusive to Big Lots. That means this couch will never be available again, unless, you know, a retailer buys it and puts a different label on it. But who would do that? It's for the low price of $1,499.99. But after their amazing discount, it's $1,349.99, which, after taxes, makes it $1,457.98. You better get it quick. Yeah, now I'm starting to doubt they're a queer ally and they just sell what other stores can't. It's a shame that the MyPillow is actually rather comfortable, maybe not comfortable enough to cure fucking fibromyalgia or financially support Mike Lindell's dreams of a Christian theocracy. But it's close. They had some vaguely content creation adjacent junk that doesn't work for your niece that likes TikTok. And look, they had like 2 board games too. Monoponops looks standard enough for a standard enough price, but they also had those cheap multi-game sets that reek of turpentine and are miserable to play, so they got that down there too if you want it. This game, however, seems kinda cool for kids. It's a big game that you'd play on a floor, similar to Twister. It even comes with a traffic vest to give kids the want for power in the world before realizing they'll never have it. It's by our pals Endless Games, who have gone on to make some of the best board games, no doubt. More Christmas gift garbage that nobody wants. And nothing that looked even remotely appealing here by the DVDs. Well, that's what I thought. I didn't realize that this was the 1961 edition of West Side Story and assumed it was the Spielberg slop. If I had noticed that, maybe I would have gotten it, but the only thing I even maybe considered picking up was this multi-pack of old Nicktoons, but even those looked like they were just the rejects of the rejects. I took a glance at Black Barbie and then walked over to get the last vanilla Coke I'll ever get from a Big Lots. And now, it's time to go. You open? Okay. How are you today?
Alright.
Good to hear. So is the store still closing? Is the store still closing?
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure
Okay, yeah. And I'm sure you heard they got, Big Lots got bought, so they're gonna stay in
it's not an official, but it was kind
in the middle of.
in the middle of quite fun. Is what I've been told. 1605.
Thank you. Silky smooth conversation skills. And with that minute of awkwardness, I bid Bigelow adieu. Something that had just occurred to me as I was leaving, though, was that the sign on the physical store was the old logo, but it seems they made the effort to update the one by the road, not too long before they believed they were supposed to close for good. Street View on Google Maps revealed that they had the old one up until at least September of 2023, with the company declaring bankruptcy just 1 year later. Big Lots might be leaving, but it's not the first departure from Auburn's Grant Avenue Plaza. As I said earlier, the Auburn-based dollar store chain Real Deals recently closed the doors for their final location here, and Big Lots' departure, I have no doubt, will cast the future of the plaza into jeopardy. It's already kind of in an odd part of town with no sidewalks or buses leading towards it, and it's situated past several similar retailers. All those factors lead me to wonder what will take the place of Big Lots once they are finally out of here. The principles of capitalism dictate that something even bigger and better will replace it, but then again, the dollar store that I mentioned closed was just replaced with a mattress store. Something that makes more money, that is less expensive, that less people need. Leaves you to wonder that perhaps the purpose of capitalism is not to allow people to provide value to generate wealth, but for people that are already successful and powerful to just wring the value out of services until they're dry and then discard the rest. What do you guys think, though? Anyhow, that's it for this video. I appreciate it so much. As it goes up, Big Lots should still have some locations open, so give it a try at a Big Lots near you and see if you have any better luck recovering any bargains. Thank you so much.